In today's episode, we will find ourselves at the intersection of emotions, mindset, business, and marketing. My name is Catherine, and for Sparrow Podcast, I invited today Olivia Murphy. She's a marketing expert, and she is empowering entrepreneurs to achieve the success they always wanted and to grow their business. Hi, Olivia. Welcome to Sparrow Podcast, and thank you for accepting my invitation today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. I have a phrase in mind, knowing that you're a marketing expert. And what comes to my mind is everything is marketing and marketing is everything. This is a phrase which a professor from my university back in time, it's been a while, he entered the classroom, and he started his lecture with this phrase. Everything is marketing and marketing is everything. And even if it was such a long time ago, it's still something which remained on my mind, you know. And that's why I would like to ask the expert, why do you think marketing is so powerful?
Marketing is so powerful, not just in business, but also in life. So if I unpack that, if I start with just business, so obviously the marketing is that visibility that you get on your business, on your brand, on your product. It's the, hey, look at me, this is what I have to offer, this is my service. And without that marketing and that visibility and that promotion of that business, you then won't have the sales happen because no one knows about you. So you need the marketing for the sales. And without the sales, there is no money. And without no money, there is no business. So it's this forever cycle, which is so magical and powerful. And that's why marketing is so powerful to begin that cycle in business. And then if you think about marketing in life as well, so coming to your thing when you said about marketing is everything.
Yes.
Marketing is self-promotion. So marketing in life, marketing yourself. How do you dress? How do you speak? What do you do in your day-to-day? What is your reality that you created, that you marketed? Everything you do is actually marketing. So when people say, oh, you know, is marketing really that important? Actually, I would argue it is one of the most, if not the most powerful things, powerful tools you can have when you know how to do it in the right way.
I'd like to know, how does marketing intersect with mindset, with entrepreneurship?
Mindset and marketing are the greatest things that you can harness. And I would go as far to say that mindset is actually 80% of the issue here, and then the 20% is the strategy. And don't get me wrong, it's a very, very important 20%, a very important aspect to harness as well. But the mindset is the key thing you need to work out and strengthen first. And that's kind of what I say to a lot of my clients, a lot of entrepreneurs that I meet, is once you have nailed how to achieve that success mindset, and then you have that with the marketing strategy as well, then the sky's the limit as to what you can achieve in your entrepreneurial journey. Going to mindset, honestly, that there are genuinely less qualified people than you or I, than anyone else out there. But because they've got a stronger mindset, they are out there doing what you want to do already because they have that strong mindset. So people who are less talented but have a strong mindset will go the distance, rather than people who have the talent, who don't have the mindset or the strength to go out there and make their dreams a reality. So that is why whenever I coach someone, I say, if you're an entrepreneur, if you can really build upon doing that inner work, doing that mindset work first, and then tag team that mindset with an amazing marketing strategy too, then your business is only going to, go from strength to strength.
Okay, and speaking about success, this is not something that we are born with. It depends on our efforts, and it's strongly correlated to our choices, to how we overcome challenges. And I know that you launched recently the Millionaire Magnet.
Yes.
I think it's amazing, and I would like to congratulate you on that.
Thank you. That's so kind. Thank you.
And maybe you can talk to us about this project and How did you come with the idea, and what is Millionaire Magnet?
Oh, I'd love to. Okay, so with Millionaire Magnet, it is an online course, online marketing mindset course. And the reason why I created it is that I really am on a mission to empower and equip entrepreneurs with the correct and right marketing tools, marketing systems to ensure that they can generate the revenue and the success in their business, regardless of their business model. Now, with the course, the way that it works is that I coach and I teach in self-paced lessons exactly how you can learn yourself, not from anyone else. You yourself can empower yourself to learn exactly the marketing strategy, the proven frameworks, and how to build your marketing system to ensure that you are guaranteeing a flood of new customers in that system 24/7 on autopilot that pay, stay, and refer others in. And it's this magical system that can work in the background to ensure that you are going to guarantee that money in the door. Now, the reason why I wanted to put it into a course rather than just keeping it for myself for the one-on-one clients I have is that I don't understand why there are so many marketing consultants, marketing coaches, marketing agencies that like to tell entrepreneurs that this is the way you've got to do it without teaching them how, so that that entrepreneur has to rely solely on that third party to come up with a strategy and execute. Now, how much better would it be if you as the entrepreneur actually learnt it yourself? And newsflash, it's actually not that hard. Learn it all yourself so that you know how to make those strong business decisions. And then if you decide to delegate to a third party to execute, you are empowered to do so. But I do not want to keep people in the dark. I want there to be a course, which is why I created Millionaire Magnet, for you to learn the systems that you need that will run on autopilot, will guarantee that money in the door, guarantee that success, also free you up as well in your life to create that massive impact that that entrepreneur set out to do in the world. So that's why I wanted it to be something that's tangible for people to buy into and teach themselves. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to leave you in the dark. I am also there hand-holding you through the lessons every step of the way. I am there to
so they can
coach.
ask questions.
Absolutely. So, and there's weekly check-in coaching calls as well for accountability. It's a wonderful environment and a wonderful community. And I really am so excited about it. And I can't wait to see how many students want to benefit from it.
Me too. And how long does it usually take to?
So they're self-paced lessons.
Yes.
So honestly, it can fit around your busy schedule as much. You can do as much or as little as you want. Each lesson, I would recommend doing at least one lesson a day. But some lessons are, say, 20 minutes long. Others are only 5 minutes long. So it depends how much time you have in the day. If you were to commit to doing a couple or a few lessons every day, you could get this done in a month, say. If you wanted to spread it out, then you can take as long as you want. It's really something to be there for. There's no pressure to get it all done, to learn it all ASAP. It's a complete process that you can go through in as quick or as long as you wish to take. Although on that note, I would say that if you are procrastinating and you're putting off doing the lessons, there's a lot of mindset work that we might need to do in the back end to understand why you're procrastinating and you're not doing it.
And then you need another online course.
There we go. And there we go, need another online course. So it's honestly in the hands of yourself. You are empowered to do as much or as little as you want, but ultimately then at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to take action on your business and your life. So the buck will end with you as to how much you give it and how much you put into learning the systems that I'm coaching in the course.
And speaking of the marketing arena, I feel that for newcomers, this might be a bit challenging because you enter an environment where you have competitors which have huge budgets for marketing. We talk about multinationals, very big companies.
The Coca-Colas of the world.
Which are able to invest huge amounts for marketing. And as a newcomer who is at the beginning of the journey, this might be intimidating. It might feel like you will have fear, you will have self-doubt. do you have a piece of advice for people that would like to start and let's say they start from nothing and are competing in this marketing Colosseum arena?
100%. I think it's a really good topic that you bring up, and it's a massive problem for a lot of people that don't even get their business idea off the ground for fear of there's just no point, because how could I compete with those big, huge marketing agencies or those big, huge companies that have these huge budgets? And don't get me wrong, I get a wide range of entrepreneurs and businesses coming to me. Some have only, say, $100 to their name, and others have, say, 50 grand they want to pump into their marketing for that month, etc. So there's a huge sliding scale, and they all need different strategies. But when it comes to the newcomer, when it comes to the person that is starting from scratch, the biggest thing that you can do is just start. Everyone has to start somewhere. Everyone starts with no people in their email list, with 0 followers. Everyone has to do that from the start. Everyone has.
So basically, start from nothing, stop for nothing.
Exactly. I'd say that stop procrastinating. Your procrastination and your perfectionism is eating away and delaying your results, delaying you achieving that goal that you want to achieve. And honestly, you might think it's a saturated market. Oh, I can't do that. It's so competitive. How could I stand out, etc. Number 1, you start. Number 2, if it's a saturated market, it shows that there's high demand for what you're offering. So you need to then shout out from the rooftops, i.e. your marketing, the right marketing you need to stand out. And then you need to be consistent and keep going. And that's where the mindset piece comes in. Keep going and just watch what happens. There are less qualified people than you doing the things that you want to do simply because they believe in themselves. So mindset, start, go for it, be consistent, and then just watch what happens. If you don't even start, you'll never achieve it.
Of course, the newcomer starts a marketing campaign and first time it can be a complete failure. Do you have a piece of advice on how this person can bounce back from a failure, from a failed marketing campaign? Which mindset
100%
does the person needs to have?
Firstly, if you fail at something, that is the greatest gift ever.
Oh, wow.
Weirdly. It is, because if you fail at something, that is an opportunity, key that, opportunity, for you then to learn, pivot, and navigate how you can improve the next time. If there is no such thing as someone that never fails, people only talk about their successes, about how well they did, but they actually don't talk so much about all the countless failures they went through to actually get to that success. So when you see someone that you put on a pedestal who is so successful, you don't know about all the countless failures they've gone through, but the difference is they picked themselves up, they learned from it, they pivoted, and they were better next time. So if you fail, that is the greatest gift you can be given. If you approach a failure as, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'm not going to try again, that is a mindset piece. Again, going back to the mindset. Pick yourself up. That is the best opportunity ever, the greatest gift to learn and be better next time. So actually, you want to welcome in as many failures as you possibly can to be the better version, the best version of yourself as an entrepreneur. So I'm all for making the failures. Keep making the failures.
Okay, but keep coming back every time.
100%.
Okay, I like that. And I know that you talk about these interesting subjects also on your Instagram, Olivia Murphy Official.
Yes.
I am following you, and
good.
I really like your content and
I'm
the way you
pleased.
approach this subject. And something that I noticed was a post about don't sell features, sell emotions, because features appeals to logic, but emotions will drive the choice. Maybe you can give us
Unpack that.
Yes,
I know.
more
I
details.
think it's a really funny one, and so many entrepreneurs and business owners make this mistake. They focus solely on the benefits and the feature of a product, but actually, newsflash, people don't buy products. They actually buy ideologies, they buy experiences, they buy the transformation that you're offering. And so by talking about the emotional side of things, the transformation, the experience that product's going to give them first, that will hook them in to make the decision to buy. And once you've hooked them in to make the decision to buy, then you can appeal to their logic part of the brain, which is when you then start to throw in the features, the benefits, because that will then justify their purchasing decision. Okay, so you go in first with the emotion. So let me explain that in great detail. So let's take, for example, you have a tooth whitening serum, for example. So number one, you could say, okay, buy this tooth whitening serum and see results in the very first night, or something along those lines. Okay, fine. Secondly, you could then maybe say instead, imagine you finally have your perfect smile. You are so confident and so in love with making those memories and capturing those memories with your loved ones, with your family, with your friends, and you are finally the happiest version of yourself. Buy our tooth whitening serum and get all of these results and experience all of this with one use overnight. See how different that sort of feeling that it pulls you in. You start imagining yourself of being that person, that ideology, that experience. You start with that first and it grabs you in and that pulls you in because let's face it, how many tooth whitening serums are there in the world? How many tooth whitening products are there in the world? You can just go to any dentist and get your teeth whitened. So don't focus solely on the product. Focus on pulling them in with that emotion. That emotion will get the decision made, will get the hook, will get the enticement that I want to achieve that experience, that transformation. And then you justify it with, okay, well, this tooth whitening serum, you literally can achieve your perfect smile by just using it overnight once. Amazing. Justifies why I'm going to buy it, add to cart. So that's why I say focus on selling emotions first, not the features, because the emotions will hook them in a much more powerful way.
Okay, speaking of this, what are some psychological triggers that brands can use in order to attract engagement?
Really good question. So along the lines of the emotional pull, the transformation that I was explaining, if they don't go on to buy straight away with that emotion, then you need to get them to like, know, and trust you. Okay, so that is a process of nurturing those leads, nurturing those prospects to really trust what you're saying, get to know you, get to like you, get to understand what your brand is about, get to understand what that product is about. And once you've got them in and they are really invested in who you are as a brand, as a product, what it is, and they come to the conclusion where they're like, this is a really fantastic product. Then you then add urgency. You throw the offer at them and you provide urgency, because that urgency will then make them, even though they know that they want the product, rather than waiting and procrastinating and maybe looking at your competitors again and double checking the testimonials, there's the urgency. They've got to buy now. So however you want to do that, that could be a limited time offer, or you could throw in an extra gift on top of buying within the next 48 hours, or however it is, or maybe the product's going to discontinue at a certain time. That urgency will then stimulate them to then make the final decision to actually go and add to cart and buy.
And get the fear of missing out.
100%. So it is that whole process of the emotional pull to start with, number one, that emotion, justify it with the features and the benefits, which is justifying their purchase decision. If for whatever reason they don't buy, you nurture them, which is why I go through this in Millionaire Magnet, how to nurture your leads and nurture your prospects, get them to like, know, and trust you until they know that they need you, they need your product, they need your service, they need your offer. And then you make them make the decision and buy from you by adding that sense of urgency. So those three things.
Okay. And speaking of engagement, this is amazing to get engagement with the brand. But I think the real success of marketing will be translated once you manage to get loyal customers, because this will create strong connections. It will drive also probably costs down. And getting the loyalty of the customers, I think it might be even more challenging than just making them to engage with the brand at first.
Yeah.
And especially that we talk nowadays, as we said, about a lot of competitors. And we have also new technologies. It's a very dynamic environment, all the time changing. So how can we keep the loyalty of the customers?
I think that in a market right now where there are so many competitors and so many changes, there's always a new software that you can use, the introduction of AI at the moment, and all of that's going on. I think ultimately the most important thing that will never change and that will always maintain your authority in your niche, in your market, is authenticity. Be your authentic self. Be true to what you stand for. Remind yourself what your mission is. What is your vision? What is your goal? What is the impact that you are trying to make? And being your authentic self, you will then attract in the right sort of customer and client. That's ultimately what you want. You want to attract in the right person. There's no point trying to chase a whole load of leads and hoping that someone's going to stick and someone's going to buy from you. And you're trying to cut through all the noise and trying to buy the latest software and maybe elbow your competitors out the way. No. That's a short-term fix, which is never going to be sustainable. For long-term success, be true to yourself and be authentic. People can see through inauthentic people so
they
fast.
Can smell
100%,
the fake.
100%.
Yes.
And it goes back to the like, knowing and trusting aspect of how do you nurture someone into buying into you. People buy not products. They buy into those experiences. They buy people. So be an authentic person. Be true to yourself, and the success of your business will be great for the long run.
And we were talking now about finding the right marketing strategy.
Yeah.
But there is a saying out there that there is no negative marketing. Or no bad marketing.
Yeah.
And I would like to know your opinion about that. Because do you think it's okay to use like fear-inducing strategies or bad marketing? Do you
Being
think
controversial and stuff like that? Yeah. This is really interesting and a really interesting topic. And I think that in terms of marketing, we're talking about the visibility, that self-promotion, getting more eyeballs on who you are, the product, the service, the offer. Now, let's talk about one of the most controversial people in the world right now, Donald Trump, has managed to get himself to be one of the most powerful people in the world as well by now being president of the United States. One of the most controversial people. He has used those tactics, those shock and awe tactics, to market himself into that position that he wanted. So he has used those for that level of power. Now, let's not get too confused with marketing and PR, because PR, for example, if you have PR is essentially the image of yourself in the public. Is it a positive one? Have you got positive PR? Or have you got negative PR, which is when people start to lose that like, no trust concept that we were talking about previously. If they start to see this negative spin, this negative image on someone, you will lose the likability, that trust value in someone. And that's when you start to have bad PR. I'm not saying so much negative marketing, I'm saying bad PR. That's when you're going to lose people's trust. And that's when you're going to lose more sales, more money, more revenue, and that's when the demise of your business will start to happen. So it's really interesting that you bring this up, because it's really important to differentiate between marketing and PR. And it's also really interesting to observe how controversial shock or marketing can have an amazing effect on people in this day and age.
Okay, thank you for making this differentiation and clarifying. And going forward, there is something on my mind about self-promotion.
Yes.
You even mentioned this at the beginning. And of course, nowadays, marketing is linked with self-promotion. And it's so important to put yourself out there, to be on the social media, to create content. Yeah. And sometimes this might feel overwhelming for some people, even anxiety-inducing for others. And I would like to know, did you ever experience something like this when you were putting yourself out there on social media? And do you have any type of advice on how can we reduce this? It's always, I feel like this needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
This comparison with others, which comparison is a thief of joy.
100%. I mean, don't get me wrong, for so long, I was so worried about my social media not looking right, me not saying the right thing, me not being accepted in the social media world. Maybe I'd get people hating me in the comments of my social media, all of that stuff.
I must say that I find myself in the same situation.
Yeah.
So I totally can resonate with you.
100%. And, you know, maybe you put a reel up and it gets like 2 views. Whoop-de-whoop. Like,
or like this pressure, like to be perfect. And guess what? I'm not perfect, you know. And
as soon as I shifted my mindset to be like, I don't care about other people's judgment. I know it's a really powerful tool for my own self-promotion in terms of what I'm doing. I have an impact I want to make to the world, to other people, to other entrepreneurs. How can people get visibility on that? Social media is a channel that is incredibly powerful to get that visibility. So I stopped worrying about things being perfect and I just started messy. I filmed on my phone. I just get stuff out there, just start having conversations, to start communicating and not worry about the finished aspect. Just post. It's better than not posting. The longer that I waited to start being consistent with my social media, like the longer I was delaying getting visibility in on my business. And I think that it's important to also remember that when I'm talking about posting on social media, I'm not saying that we all need to be influencers. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying use it as a medium where you can shout out from the rooftops about what impact you want to make. You know, I think that people start to get really worried about, you know, on that scroll on your social media where you're looking at your social and you're like, oh, and you start to compare yourself to others and you start to think, oh, I'm not as good enough. And that is a negative mindset. Take that away from yourself. Honestly, you need to start thinking about, you know, how am I going to be able to use this in the best light to promote myself? Now, on that note as well, I would say that it's not just solely social media. If you find social media really heavy, which I think a lot of people do, I would say, and I would argue, it's actually so much more beneficial to be growing your email list and nurturing your customers and your prospects that way rather than solely relying on social media. It's not for everyone. The algorithm changes all the time. So you can never second guess if something's going to go viral or something's going to tank. So
every platform, I guess, has another algorithm.
100%. So it's all very inconsistent. And that is very frustrating to a lot of people, including myself. So I take it with a pinch of salt that social media is an amazing platform for free that I can go on to really start talking more. I'm having more conversations to people and hopefully creating a great impact in that way. But it's not the only way. Okay. So it's not the only way you can start talking about yourself. But I would say, stop worrying about being perfect. Stop worrying about what people are going to say, the judgment, because the longer that you do, the longer that you will take to start. It goes back to what we were saying before. Yes. Just start and start messy. Start messy. It doesn't have to look perfect. Just talk and have those conversations and then just watch what happens.
Okay. Very nice. I feel like now I should post something because I have to be honest. I also confront myself with this type of like social media anxiety.
Yeah.
And I really love doing this podcast. But on the other side, when it comes to posting, I would like...
But you must
to hide somewhere.
Yeah, you must, because I guess the reason why you are hiding and the reason that you don't want to post is because you're worried about it not being perfect or worried about how you look or how people are going to perceive it or is it good enough. And all of that chitter chatter is the way that you're thinking and is stopping you from achieving your goals. And you are so much better for just getting out there and just doing it. Doesn't matter if it sticks or not, just do it, because if you don't do it, then you'll never know.
Yes, I was talking about this with a friend a few days ago, and he mentioned to me that he feels that perfection will impede you to progress.
100%. Yeah. Perfectionism is simply procrastination as well, because you're so worried about things being perfect. You get yourself into a state where you're so worried to even do the thing because it's not going to be perfect. But newsflash, nothing is ever perfect. It never will be. And perfection is subjective anyway. And we could go on to a whole new podcast about that. But honestly, I think like just don't worry about it. Just don't worry. And honest for me as well, I am by nature a massive perfectionist. And there's definitely so many lessons and so much work that I have had to do to overcome that perfectionism. And I still do. I still do the work every single day. It's not something that just changes overnight.
Of course.
It's reminding yourself of being in that growth mindset and just doing it. What the heck? And don't worry about what people think.
Okay.
So post about the podcast. Promote the podcast. I'm excited. I want to keep seeing more of you.
Thank you. These kind of messages keep me going.
Oh,
you
good,
know?
good.
I would like to know, because we were talking about marketing, emotions, and self-promotions and so on. And are you interested, or are you digging also into neuromarketing, into this area?
Neuromarketing, in terms of like the brain and mindset and how that all comes into play. I find it fascinating. I think the brain is your greatest marketing tool, actually. So something that I actually teach as well in Millionaire Magnet is there's a whole module right at the beginning, which is about how a thought is just a thought and it can be changed, and how your thinking then affects the way that you feel about something, and then the way that you feel about something then changes the way that you act about something, and then the way that you act is ultimately your response and a reality that you have created. So the whole neuroscience behind why we think in a certain way and our survival instinct is we're hardwired to think negatively and to think safely and to keep you in your safe comfort zone, because back in like the tribal area when we were cavemen, you didn't want to put yourself...
We needed this.
100%.
To keep us alive.
So it is just, we are wired in that sense. So it's, once you understand the way that your brain is genuinely just trying to keep you safe, and when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, it might feel difficult because it's all against everything in your cellular being to do that. But that's only how you grow and how you succeed. So the neuroscience behind it is so powerful, especially for entrepreneurs, because you are constantly having to face challenges to push yourself out of your comfort zone, to do the thing that you hate first thing in the day is the best thing you can do, just to really challenge the way that your brain is wired. I think that it is so powerful, and there should be more education around this in schools, university, because it would probably empower children to dream again and to not worry so much, and to just not think that what their thoughts are is necessarily true.
For sure. I think it would be useful. We learn so many things in school that we never use again.
Yeah, I know.
So this would prepare someone for the real life.
Yeah, 100%. No, neuroscience is fascinating, especially as I come from a place where I'm also someone who is kind of spiritual as well. I believe in law of attraction and universal law, and backing that up with neuroscience as well, because I always want to back things up with neuroscience. I find that just so powerful. And if you understood how your brain is wired scientifically and how you can change that and change your reality as a outcome, then we'd have more entrepreneurs in the world. We'd have more people that weren't fearful. We'd have more people who didn't care about what other people thought. They just went out and made their goals happen. And that's something that is so important to educate that generation as we're growing up.
For sure. Linking what you said to neuroplasticity, which is basically how your brain is rewiring the neuronal connections.
Neurons. Oh my goodness, neurons. How incredible is it that as a human being, you can rewire your neuronic pathways?
So you can basically become a different version of yourself.
Yes, I think it honestly, pardon the pun, but it blows my mind. Like, it blows my mind on how powerful that is. Neuroplasticity changes everything. So like teaching, how you can genuinely, with repetition, with thinking a certain way over and over again and rewiring those neurons, that neuroplasticity process changes your reality. It changes who you become because of how you've rewired your brain. I think it's honestly powerful.
For sure. And you were mentioning that you're a spiritual person and you believe in the law of attraction. And are you practicing like manifesting, journaling?
Manifestation for me is also really interesting that you bring this up too, because there's so much chitter chatter, I think, online about manifestation.
Meanwhile, it became like such a hot topic.
Yeah. I
Yes.
think that it's like some people dismiss manifestation as this woo-woo stuff that you can think something and then it's suddenly like you can manifest $1 million will just fall from the sky and land on your lap just by thinking.
Maybe there will be.
Maybe there will be.
It will rain here.
That's not how I approach manifestation. I think that manifest, if you look it up in the dictionary, means basically to make something happen. So to make something happen, you need
action.
That's it. So another thing is, people love to have vision boards. I actually call them action boards because if you just look at your vision board and it's something that you're looking at all the time, yes, it's great to motivate you. That's what you want to pull into your reality. But where's the action? It's not going to happen if you don't make it happen. Go out there and make it happen. That's what manifestation is. You think that you want something, you want it, you think it, you make sure that you are really aligned on what your goals are, you embody it, you practice it, and then you make it happen. You go out there and you make it happen. It's not just something that you think, oh, you know what, I'd really like $1 million.
Me too, but...
Yeah, but what? So then what are you going to do then? And first and foremost, you need to be really assertive that is what you are making happen. And then you stop at nothing against all odds to make it happen. That is manifestation. That is that process. So that's kind of what I also like to talk about and how I coach my clients as well in terms of manifestation. It's not just I can think a certain way, I can feel gratitude and then whoop-de-doo, it's going to turn up tomorrow. No, it's not that. It's only part of the puzzle. It's actually the action that you take is the most important thing, which comes to why you've got to have a strong mindset. So no matter what failures, if you can call anything a failure, whatever challenges you come up against, you keep going until it's manifested itself.
I love that. I feel like so empowered now.
I feel passionate about it.
I
feel like my energy is rising.
Yes, I can see that. I love it. We started with the idea that marketing is everything. And considering this, going to a conclusion, where do you think that there is the line between marketing influencing or marketing manipulating people?
Really interesting. Yeah. No, really, really interesting. So I think that there's two things we need to unpack here is firstly influence and then manipulation, and both being different things. So influence is obviously coming from the intent to do good, the intent to influence in a positive standpoint and create an impact. Whereas manipulation is from a position of not doing something good, not doing a positive thing, coming from maybe hidden intentions to change people's minds or that they don't necessarily believe in. So the manipulation is almost like a perversion of the truth, whereas if you are a person of influence and you use marketing to influence people from your standpoint of the platform that you are on for good, then that is an amazing, amazing thing. And I think that from our standpoint as a society, it's, probably our moral obligation to ensure that the people that we put in power that are of influence can do good from that platform and use marketing, use that platform to influence society in a positive light and create an impact in a positive way for the greater good. Whereas if we empower or we enable people to get into power to then use marketing to manipulate, that manipulation is a hidden intention to not do good, to change people's viewpoints that they don't necessarily believe is right. And then as soon as we start to enable people of power to manipulate society, manipulate the world and the realities that we live in, that's going to be the downfall of the world that we are living in, day out. So we need to make sure then, with marketing being everything, as we started this podcast with, marketing is everything. Let's make sure that the people who are of power have influence and they can use marketing for the greater good.
Okay, let's hope so.
Let's hope.
Thank you, Olivia, for joining me today. It was amazing to talk to you, and I really feel so inspired and so empowered right now.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be on the podcast. Thank you.